This tutorial is going to be about rotoscoping a video. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go look at Trello and I go to the Tutorials Resources 3 under Video Finds. If I click on that and I scroll down, I'm going to find the YouTube downloader. Now if I click on that, it's going to jump me into this space. Now if I come into YouTube, I can find myself a video. In this case I've got the Last Airbender. I'll select this, Command C, so I'll copy it, back on downloader, I can get rid of this and paste in the new address, and it's going to give me all these downloads. So if I click on this download, it's going to let me download the option I want and where I want to save it. So I'm going to go to QuickTime and I'm going to find that video. I'll open it. At this stage, what I can do in QuickTime is I can go Edit, Trim, and I can cut it down to the bit I want. And it's this bit. So once I've got the bit I want, I hit Trim, and I can export as. I've got it at 1080p at the moment, and I'll give it a name. Save it into the folder I want it to go into. Once it's done, I can jump into Photoshop, File, Import, Video Frames to Layers. I'll find the movie that I just made. I'll go Open, and at this stage, I still have the option to trim it into the area I want it, and I'm going to stop it just before it jumps into that close-up shot. I'll go OK. It says here selected range only. And it's going to give me all these frames. Now at this stage you can select exactly what you want so that you're not necessarily doing 24 frames per second. But if I go to the bottom one and I control click, it says hide all the other layers, and then I can go through bit by bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get this tool here, the object selection tool. I'm going to have it on lasso. Sometimes it comes up as square. Make sure it's on lasso. I can draw around my character. There's a little bit there that I might try and take out with the Option key. It depends how fussy you want to get, but I'm not going to worry about it too much. Anyway, once I've got the selection, quick mask. It's the wrong way around, so I'll just go Command I on this, and then I go on to the next frame. Now what you'll notice is that these two frames are exactly the same. So the second one I'm going to delete, and I can see here there's a change. So I'll click on it, drag around the character, again hold down the Option if I want to get some of these other areas a wee bit. hit the quick mask. Wrong way around. Just Command I it. Now this actually does look like it's got a segment here that I'm going to grab as well, and on here I can just go Command Delete, which is fill with black, and then I'm on to the next one. At this stage, I can start to add on additional elements as well. So if I click on this, hide all other layers, so I'm just looking at one, I can now go in and at this stage I'm going to jump into Illustrator. At this stage I'm going to jump into Illustrator, and I'm just going to quickly make myself a bit of a lightning bolt. With this, I'm now going to give it a stroke that's a bit thicker. Quite like the look of that. I'm just going to pull some of these corners up a little bit, and I'm going to fill it with yellow. Okay, I'm now going to go Object, Path, Outline Stroke, and if I go Command Y, I can see all the layers here. And at this stage, I'm going to select everything. I'm going to look at my layers. I've got one layer here, so I'm going to go Copy, Command C, Command F, paste in front. And you can see I've got two groups here, so I'm going to make a new layer, and I'm going to chuck one of those lightning bolts into the top layer. So the bottom one I'm just going to switch off for a minute, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go Command Y, and with the direct selection tool, I'm going to select those outer two shapes and delete them. I'm going to go into the bottom shape, and I'm going to highlight and delete the inner two shapes. Now at this stage I can go Command Y. I'm just going to lock the other layer so I don't bump it. For this I go Command C to copy it, Command F, paste it in front, and I'm just going to move it off a wee bit. I'll grab both of these shapes. I'm going to blend them. Blend Options, and I go to Specified Steps, and I'll put something like 200 in, reasonably high number. I'll go OK, and now I just need to go back to the blend and make it. Once I've done that, I need to expand it. Go OK, and then with the Pathfinder I just go Union. And this just joins it all together as one shape. Now if we go to my layers, I can switch on that top one, and I'm just going to fill it with yellow again. Switch them on, and there we go. I've got myself a lightning bolt. If I select all of this, I'm going to group it, and I'll go copy. Now I can jump back into Photoshop. As soon as I paste it, I'm just going to do it as pixels. I don't really need it as a smart object at the moment. You can see here it's going to come up as a layer sitting above. I can move that lightning bolt around, and I'm going to join it with the layer underneath. I go Command E. I'll just go Apply. Gets rid of that mask, but in this case I'm not too worried about that. And go to the next one. If I still want to see the lightning bolt from it, I can leave that layer on underneath. Paste. Move it over. Rotate it slightly. Command D. Drag it over above that one. I get Command E. Apply. And now I can kind of see the difference between the two. I can see what's happening. So I'll go to the next one, I'll click on that. Command V brings in this lightning bolt again. Maybe this time I'm going to scale it down a bit. And I'm going to go Command J, just duplicates that layer. And change the lightning bolt, and maybe at this stage as well I can do a bit of a scribble, and when I want to join it, Command E, it's going to hit Apply, and actually I'll just switch them on and off, see what the difference is. And so I can keep going through. So I go up to the next one. Maybe I'll leave a lightning bolt off this time, but I'll make a new layer. And again, I'm going to do a scribble. Command E, Apply, and I just keep heading through. I'm going to leave the rest of them like that. I'm going to go File, Save As, give it a name, and where I'm going to save it just as a Photoshop file. That's all good, and now I can jump into Premiere. So the first thing I'm going to do is make a new project. I just need to make sure that it's HDV. At this stage I'm going to go assembly. I just like the viewport better. And I'm going to go new. I'm going to make a sequence. And this I'm going to set out the specs. So there's one here, HDV 1080p 24. I'm going to go OK with that, and it brings everything in. So it's brought in this sequence. I can change the name of it if I want. I'm going to, at this stage, just save as. I'll give the project a name. Again, save it where I want to save it. I can just double click in here, and I'm going to bring in my Photoshop file. At this stage, I'm going to go sequence, going to select all, and go OK. Now, quite often you're looking at this. I put it on the list view, and it's so that I can get a couple of different options. If I spin this open, what I'm going to see is down the bottom I have the file name, but I have it as a sequence. If I double click, it comes in as this, and I can change all the frames. At the moment they're on 1. The thing is, if you have one that's a little bit shorter, this method can be quite good, because you can extend and make things longer and shorter. I'm going to click back to the base. And I'm just going to get rid of that airbender. If I brought in the sequence, you'd see it comes in like this. Do I want to change the sequence to match the clip settings? No, I don't, because I'm setting up the sequence in here. If I control click on this, there'll be an option that says unlink, and that just means I can then click on the audio, and I can just hit delete and get rid of it. But because there's so many frames, if you have a lot of frames, you'll want to do it a little bit differently. And what you can do is you can shift click on all of these frames, click and drag them over and drop them in. If I select all of them, then I can come up here to clip, and I can go nest. Give it a name if I want to. And that changes it into a sequence. If I control click on it, go down, I'll find an option here that's called speed duration, and this is where you can go in and speed it up or slow it down. You can use frames, like a specific frame, or you can use a percentage. At the moment I'll just leave this, and I'll press play, and that's what I have. At the moment, if I render it out, it'll come up with a black background because it's transparent. You know, when I go through, you can see with the checker pattern it's transparent. So what I want to do is come back to the start, as I'm going to go File, New, and I'm going to put something in called a color matte. It'll come up with the same frame rate and dimensions. Go OK. I can pick a color. In this case, I'm just going to get a white, and I'll make sure it's pure white by going into the RGB and put in 255 for each of them. I can give it a name if I want. I'll just leave it as is, and what I'll find is that it comes up in here. So I can drag it over, drop it, and I can extend it out to the same length as the other clip. Play it. Now I've got it on a white background. So let's bring in a few other clips that I've done on Photoshop. So we'll have more Photoshop files in here. Sequence. I'm going to put it on layer size, flip it open, grab all my layers, using the shift key, click, drag them over, extend that out so I can see everything, grab it all, and then I can go up to clip, nest again. I'll call this one frog. If I don't like the placement, I can come into editing window, I can click on frog, and then I'll get all this motion stuff that comes up, and I can move them around by using the positioning. Put them in the corner there. You've got scale and other options that pop up. The reason I keep going back to assembly is it gives me a bigger window here for bringing things in. So I've got my frog. I'll double click, and this time I'm going to bring in one called kitty, import it in. I'm going to make it a sequence. Just notice with this one, nothing's checked. So make sure I've got select all in this case. I'll go OK. I'll spin it open, and then again I've got all my layers. Shift click, grab them all. In here I can add tracks. I'll just chuck in 4, and then I can grab all this, bring it in, grab it all, go to clip and change it to a nest again. And now I'm starting to get all these interactions and things going on. I might just I'll get the airbender, maybe put him in front, like that, a wee bit better, maybe move him along a little bit so that the stuff starts first, and then comes in. I won't change the position, but what you'll notice here is that because this clip's a lot longer, and actually I'm going to just end up with the frog ends, so I can get this, roll it in, and I can also extend this one out so that I know I've got the white background. Let's just zoom in on that to make sure everything's all kind of the same length. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to render this one out. So what I'm going to do is I'll go File, Export, Media, and there's going to be some settings in here The main one I want is H264. Where I want it to save, so click OK. It's going to be called base 4. Yep, that's fine. Don't want audio, there's no audio on this, but I'll switch it off. The main thing here is just check that it's 1080 by 1440, so it's the right dimensions. If not, then I'd go match source, but that all seems pretty good. So down here a bit further on the window, there's an option that says Q or export. I want to click Q. When I hit the Q, it's going to open it up in the media encoder. This is a good way to work. It's specifically done now for rendering so that you can work at the same time as doing all of this. It comes up. Here it's got the link of where it's going and everything. It says ready, and all I do is hit play. And it will give me a preview as it renders through. I can see it's got a white background. I'm going to open up QuickTime and then base 4 is the one that we've just done. And just pop it in the window so you can see the whole thing. I'm going to loop it and let's play and have a look. Okay, good.